BPB's 2017 NAMM Show coverage is sponsored by Plugin Boutique, the place for music plugins.
Hi, I'm Roger Cloud with Cloud Microphones. We're here at the NAMM Show in 2017, Anaheim, California, and I'm here to talk about the Cloud Microphones line of products, starting with the original microphones that we came out with, the JRS34 Active and the JRS34 Passive. These microphones are based on the BK11 with some influence from the 44 line of microphones from RCA, and they were designed in collaboration with Stephen Sank. His father, John Sank, designed the BK11 for RCA and many of the later models of classic ribbon microphones that RCA produced. So we were inspired by that beautiful sound that the RCA microphones have, and we designed our own ribbon microphones from the ground up. The JRS34 Passive was the first one that we prototyped, and we decided when we started the company that we needed an active microphone as well, something with an active gain stage that would be easy to work with preamplifiers, because ribbon microphones have an issue with gain. They need a lot of it, so by designing an active microphone we wanted to overcome that need so that it would be plug and play with virtually any modern preamp. So that's where the JRS34 Active came from, and then we eventually came out with the 44A, which also takes that one step further. The motor design is a little more like the original RCA 44A from the mid-30s, and it has that acoustic property on the internals so that the motor itself emulates those shapes that they used for the magnetic structure and so forth. And we have integrated the Cloud Lifter active gain stage inside the mic, and also there's a voice music switch. When you engage into voice mode, it reduces the low frequency and acts as a high pass filter, allowing you to instantly have a signal that is virtually perfect for a vocal or an instrument where you don't need a giant bottom end. Because the second issue that ribbon microphones can have is a very large proximity effect when you get close to the microphone. So this switch alleviates that and allows you to work closer to the microphone without being overwhelmed with the low frequency response. So when we launched the company in 2009 at AES in New York City, we had the JRS34 Active and the Passive models, and we had this idea that actually literally came about by accident to take the active gain stage from the microphone and put it into a box where you could use with other microphones, ribbon microphones and dynamic microphones that you may have. And our first model of the Cloud Lifter was a dual channel Cloud Lifter that incorporated this active Class A discrete gain stage in a format that all you need to operate it is phantom power. So as we went along, we saw how popular the Cloud Lifters were. So because of the customers asking, we made the single channel, the CL1. And today this is a very popular product for us, and it works really well with microphones such as the SM7B, the EVRE20, even a Shure SM58, and the microphone that we're using now, which is an Ultra Voice Behringer dynamic microphone that is plugged into the Cloud Lifter and then going into the Zoom recorder for this audio portion of the video that we're doing now. The next product in the line that came out was the Cloud Lifter Z. The Cloud Lifter Z takes it another step further and gives you variable impedance loading so that you can actually customize your tone in a particularly beautiful way by manipulating the impedance. It's like a tone control, but it has a different character, and it's something that you can only get by manipulating impedance. So we've made a vast range of impedance selection on this device, from 150 ohms all the way up to 15,000 ohms. And with that vast range, you can cover virtually any microphone that has ever been produced. You're able to go to a really low impedance for some of the older microphones that maybe have a 30 or 50 ohm output, In particular, I'm thinking about some of the early ribbon microphones and some of the European ribbon microphones. And then on the other side of it, some of the newer microphones have a very high impedance output. You know, some of them are over 600 ohms. And so you can go the other way and really get the perfect sound that you're looking for with each microphone. In my opinion, in my view here, I don't think the impedance is about coming up with a value that's mathematically correct, so to speak, as much as it is about turning the knob until you hear the sound that you like, until you hear the sound that you want for that particular instrument on that particular track. When you go to a very low impedance, you'll end up getting a more forward mid-range sound that has a more controlled and more, I would say, a tighter bass response, and the top end isn't so aggressive. As you go the other way, you get literally the opposite. You get a bigger and larger bass response and a little more aggression on the top end. So the Z knob allows you to sweep that and go anywhere in between. It has a variable high-pass filter, which is also continuously variable, and it's tied to the impedance. And basically, when you go to a very low impedance, the high-frequency cutoff rises to a very high frequency, up to around 4K. And if you go the other way, it lowers the cutoff frequency as you rise in impedance. So at the very highest setting, you're cutting around 30 hertz with most microphones. Now, these values are dependent upon the impedance of the microphone and the preamp, so they vary slightly as far as where things happen, but they all do, regardless of the impedance of the amp or the microphone, it will still behave in a very similar fashion, and it's meant to be intuitive. You just turn the knob until it sounds the way you'd like to hear it. So that brings me to the newest addition to the Cloud Microphones line. It's the Cloudlifter ZI. The ZI takes the Cloudlifter concept and adapts it into a DI that's active for instruments such as bass, guitar, or keyboards, and gives you the functionality of the very Z so that you can customize your tone in the same way that we just described for the Cloudlifter Z. And one of the coolest things about the Cloudlifter ZI is that it has a combo jack with dual input for 1/4 inch and XLR. So if you're using the 1/4 inch jack, your instrument is going to see a load of greater than 1 meg from the custom handmade Cinemag transformer that's made right here in Southern California. Now that high Z to low Z transformer feeds into the microphone preamp section of the Cloudlifter Z and gives you the ability to go into our patented Z interface and change the impedance that the transformer is loaded with, thereby giving you the opportunity to customize your tone. When you're not using it with a 1/4 inch high Z instrument, you can use it with an XLR. When you use it with an XLR, it bypasses the high Z transformer and loads straight into the Z interface so that you can use it in microphones in exactly the same way that you use the other Cloudlifters. So it also has a 3-way variable gain switch, giving you, we call it minimum, more, and max. With microphones, it's about 6, 12, and 24 decibels, up to that amount at least, depending on the preamp and its impedance. With instruments, it's slightly lower. It's about half, up to about 12 dB. The reason for that is because we use the nice custom high to Z to low Z transformer, which will step it down and it will lose some gain, but then it makes up for it when it goes into the Cloudlifter's Class A discrete gain stage. So you end up netting more gain than you lose from the transformer. So this is a great tool that you can use to get great bass sounds and guitar sounds going straight into your DAW, or in a live situation and you want to go straight into the board. Piezo pickups, low output pickups are really wonderful with this device because they give you much more clarity and gain and the ability to shape the tone with the loading and the continuously variable high pass filter. So we're very excited about this product. It's made completely in the southwestern United States. The metal fabrication is in Tucson, Arizona and Phoenix, Arizona. And the circuit board manufacturing is on the Navajo Nation Indian Reservation in Northern California. The transformer and the linear systems JFETs are all made right here in California. So it's a product that we've put together and we have a community-based manufacturing philosophy that that enables us to bring these products to you at a good price, yet still make them responsibly right here in the USA.